The pro-Israel lobby group reportedly plans to spend as much as $25 million to defeat Bowman, who was one of the first lawmakers to call for a permanent ceasefire after October 7th. AIPAC is backing Bowman's challenger and helped to find and encourage him to run, George Latimer.
And because of that spending by AIPAC, new polling shows that those attack ads on Congressman Jamaal Bowman are unfortunately working. And his challenger, George Latimer, is holding a whopping 17-point lead over the progressive. Now, a survey by Emerson College Polling, PIX 11, which is a local station there or channel there, The Hill also released Tuesday found Latimer leading Bowman in the primary for New York's 16th Congressional District with 48% support to 31%, with 21% of those respondents saying that they're still undecided in the race, which I think that's where you see a little bit of a silver lining. And I do believe that Jamaal Bowman could turn this race around. And remember, this is just one poll, but the poll's not good. Now, Latimer, who is currently the Westchester County executive, also has a higher favorability score than Bowman does. The poll found that 51% of respondents have a favorable view of Bowman, compared to 43% who have an unfavorable view of the House Democrat. In comparison, 65% said they have a favorable view of Latimer, while 23% had an unfavorable view of the county executive. The Emerson poll also indicates that younger voters seem to split considerably from older voters in the district. I mean, can you guess where the younger voters are going? So voters under 40 break for Jamaal Bowman, 44% to 35%, while voters over 40 for Latimer. Spencer Kimball, who is the executive director of Emerson College Polling, explained in a press release. Democratic primary voters ages 40 to 59 break for Latimer, 53% to 31%, while voters in their 60s break for Latimer, 46% to 29%. And voters over 70 also break for Latimer, 53% to 22%.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
So this is an incredibly contentious race. And the reason why it's contentious is because unlike the vast majority of our elected lawmakers in Congress, Representative Bowman happens to have the courage to speak out against the mass slaughter of innocent civilians in the Gaza Strip. He has called for a ceasefire, and apparently that makes you an incredibly offensive individual that AIPAC is going to direct its ire against. And so they have pledged to spend as much as $25 million to defeat Jamaal Bowman. They've already spent about $8 million. And unfortunately, these negative ads, these attack ads that AIPAC is putting out seem to be working. As of May 31st, AIPAC, its super PAC, United Democracy Project, has already poured more than $8 million into TV ads to oust Bowman, according to the ad tracking firm Ad Impact. And AIPAC again has stated that they're willing to spend more. But AIPAC, which represents the interests of a foreign government as opposed to the American citizens in Jamaal Bowman's district, really, I mean, just show that the freedom of expression, the calls for peace in Gaza is like the number one thing that gets under their skin. And what's really bothering me about this story, John, is that you had Mondaire Jones come out and endorse Jamaal Bowman's primary challenger here, Latimer, and he did it for his own political purposes. And then just today, Hillary Clinton came out and also endorsed Latimer in this race. She did so through a post on X saying, with Trump on the ballot, we need strong, principled Democrats in Congress more than ever. Well, we have a strong, principled Democrat in that seat. But nonetheless, she says, in Congress, Latimer for New York will protect abortion rights, so will Jamaal Bowman, stand up to the NRA, Bowman does stand up to the NRA, in fact, does so pretty aggressively and got into a shouting match with a member of Congress over the issue, and fight for President Biden's agenda, just like he's always done. That's funny because it was the establishment Democrats, the conservative Democrats in Congress, who fought back against Biden's agenda and defeated the Build Back Better plan. If I remember correctly, Jamaal Bowman, the progressive that Hillary Clinton is against in this primary race, was the individual who was actually fighting pretty aggressively to accomplish Joe Biden's real agenda. But maybe it wasn't his real agenda. Maybe it was all just a game. I don't know. But John, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's almost like the reasons she's citing in there are not the actual reasons for why she's supporting him. When the descriptions of Latimer that she provides there are more accurately applied to Bowman, with the only possible exception maybe being some of the stuff around Biden's agenda. Like, sure, with Latimer and Democrats like him, the agenda will be very, very small and very, very weak, but they'll vote for that in the end. Whereas Jamaal Bowman will, like all of the progressives, end up supporting as much as they can get out of Biden, but might also ask for more. And that's very uncouth of him. It's very impolite, and they don't like it when you do that. $25 million from one lobby in one congressional primary is ridiculous. That is insane. It should be illegal. It should 100% be illegal. And the only reason it isn't illegal is the sort of people who do that are the ones who write the laws. Absolute madness. Now, it's a lot of money, but I do have a question though. Is it going to be balanced out by money that the Democratic Congressional Committee is going to be spending? Because I know it's very important to them to protect their incumbents. So I'm assuming they're going to be putting a bunch of money to protect him, right?
So the DCCC hates progressives. They've always hated progressives, and they will not help Jamaal Bowman fight off these attacks by AIPAC. So anyone who thinks that they would get any help from DCCC is kidding themselves. There are some progressives who have sprung into action to try to help Jamaal Bowman, but their money can't match AIPAC's. And I want to know something. So during the Trump administration, we had various members of his administration, and his advisors, people like Paul Manafort, get in a lot of trouble for failing to register as foreign agents. I want to understand why AIPAC is not registered as a foreign agent in this country. Because they represent a foreign government. Okay, they are coordinating with a foreign government to destroy the careers of politicians who dare speak out against what Israel is doing in Gaza. But they're not registered as a foreign agent. It's amazing to me that there is a bit of a double standard there. Now, let's get to what we're hearing from people who do support Jamaal Bowman, including Jewish individuals. Sophie Elman Golan, who is the communications director at Jews for Racial and Economic Justice, praised Bowman as a leader for decades in fighting anti-Semitism and all forms of hate as a principal and in Congress. So Democratic voters won't let these ugly smear attacks from Republican-funded AIPAC divide us. Unfortunately, the Democratic Party was already divided. And so AIPAC has taken full advantage of those divisions and has garnered the support of these establishment corporate Democrats who are now throwing Jamaal Bowman under the bus. Now, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez intends to hold a rally for Bowman, and there will be some pretty big name figures there. It'll take place on Saturday, June 22nd. Rally in the Bronx next Saturday. Bernie Sanders, Jamaal Bowman, and more. We have a world to win. To do so, we must defeat cynicism, apathy, and big money to turn out every voter we can in the New York primary this month. Let's do this. And it was reposted by Bernie Sanders, who says that AIPAC, funded by right-wing billionaires, supports extremist Republican candidates, which is true. They will spend $100 million against progressives this year, including $25 million against Jamaal Bowman. Democrats must unite against this super PAC. I look forward to joining Jamaal and AOC in New York. And then finally, I just wanted to give some props to Rashida Tlaib because she's helping financially. According to Dave Weigel, Tlaib donated $500,000 from her campaign funds to Justice Democrats' Squad Protection, IE. Tlaib raised a ton of money this cycle, and AIPAC et al. Couldn't find a challenger. They're now pouring resources into the primaries against Jamaal Bowman and Cori Bush. Any final word on this, John?
I mean, the fact that he's not going to have to answer for this Latimer. I mean, the fact that Hillary Clinton is not going to have, like, they're talking about strong Democrats. Why is it that the right-wing billionaire money is going towards him? Why are conservative right-wingers choosing him over Bowman? Why does Hillary Clinton agree with conservative billionaires on who should make up the Democratic caucus? I think those are great questions. I would love for the media to ask those sorts of things, but of course the media is in on it. They're not gonna provide that sort of coverage.
Listen, people get real upset when you point to a very simple fact about the current Democratic Party and how it has, in my opinion, devolved in recent years. With the rise of MAGA Republicanism, never Trump Republicans got absorbed into the Democratic Party. We're talking about the neocons. I mean, the Democratic Party, the establishment, has turned into Republican light for the most part, with a few exceptions. And those exceptions are the progressive lawmakers that we're talking about here, who are being targeted by AIPAC. So that's what's really going on. I mean, I look at the Democratic field, I look at Democratic politicians, I think about the general election and the possibility of Biden being replaced by a different Democratic candidate. And every list I look at, I'm just like, nope, 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 nope. And that's depressing. Obviously, progressives aren't being considered for that role, but I just don't know what to say. I'm not saying the Democratic Party is the exact same as the Republican Party. That would be absurd. But there has been this really sad conservative infusion within the Democratic Party. And what they've done to kind of, in my opinion, hide that from the public is lean into some of the racial politics or gender politics, all that kind of stuff. But all of that starts to collapse when the Democratic Party doesn't give a damn about Palestinians getting slaughtered in Gaza. In fact, they seem to support it.
If you enjoyed this video, that's because of our members. They make us independent, they make us strong, and they make us honest. Become a member today by hitting the join button below.